Hi, and welcome to Stay in the Loop, where when the math is not mathing, you have a place to tune in. In our previous two series, multiplication and division, we learned a variety of strategies of solving single and multi-digit numbers. In this video, we're going to learn how to find all factor pairs of a given multiple. So allow me to put on my focals, and let's get started. All right, so our fine print page tells me that in Georgia, fourth grade students are supposed to find all factor pairs in the range of 1 to 100, as well as multiples of single digit numbers up to 100 as well. This is an important page because when we're talking about factor pairs, we're talking about all the different ways that we can come up to a multiple. However, knowing some rules are going to help us alleviate a lot of different unnecessary work rather. So for instance, divisibility rules for even tells me that every single multiple is going to be even. So what does that mean? That means if I multiply 4 times 3, and in this case, I have an even factor and I have an odd factor, but regardless, because I have an even factor, I am going to have an even product, an even multiple. Same thing for 8. If I multiply 8 times 5, 8 is my even number, 5 is an odd number, I am still going to receive an even number. So that goes for any factor that is even. Divisibility rules for odd, a little different because those factors will give you both an even or an odd multiple. So for instance, if I take 7, for instance, which is an odd number, and I multiply that by 6, which is an even number, I will get 42. So that is an even product. However, if I take 7 and I multiply that by 7, I now have 49, and 49 is an odd multiple. And that same rule will apply for any of my odd factors. We also have separate other things that we can look at with these odd factors, like for instance, 5. If I do not have a 5 or a 0 in the ones place, then I know that it is not a multiple of 5 because as I can see, with me skip counting by 5s, I will only have a 5 or a 0, very much so a pattern. And again, these rules are going to help me as I identify my factor pairs for a given multiple. So let's go ahead and give it a try. We have the multiple 27. 27 is an odd number, so I already know no even numbers are going to be able to go in here. So let's work it out. I can get 1 and 27 as a factor pair because anything times 1 is going to be itself. So I'm always going to start with 1. 1 times 27 is a factor pair because when I multiply these two factors, it gives me that multiple. As mentioned, we're not going to do any even numbers, so I can jump straight to 3, and I know that 3 times 9 also will give me 27. I can see from the very close gap between 3 and 9 that I'm pretty much done finding my factor pairs because again, 2 is not going to work. 4 is not going to work. 5 is not going to work because we do not have a 0 or a 5 in the ones place. And 6 is not going to work. 7, the closest multiple is 28. And then of course 8 is not going to work because it is an even number. So as I list out my multiples, it will simply be 1, 3, 9, and 27. Now, let's move on to a larger multiple. So in this case, we have 48. So I'm going to start with 1 because I know that 1 times 48 is going to give me 48. Now I'm just going to go down the line. 2 is absolutely going to work because I know that I can cut 48 in half, which is pretty much what that 2 is if I were to divide it. So 2 times 24 will give me my next factor pair because 2 times 24 equals 48. 3, while an odd number, is going to give me an even product if I multiply that times 16. So 3 times 16 also will give me 48. It is also another factor pair. 4 times 12 is also going to give me 48. So that is my fourth factor pair. Continuing down the line, I know that 5 is not going to work because 5 there's not a 5 or a 0 in the ones place. So I can go ahead and eliminate 5. With my last factor pair being 6 and 8. So as I list all of these factor pairs, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, and 48. Quite a bit, but this is the expectation that students are going to be needing as we learn how to find all factor pairs. All right, so we come to my favorite part of the video where you are now going to pause and work independently. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I hope your answers look just like mine. While I do not have any commas, that's totally fine. But essentially, you should have those rainbow arches to kind of show your connection and to see what are my two factors. I hope this video was helpful. I cannot wait to see you for the next episodes. Are you looped in?